It is new bike day, not for me, it is new bike day for Delboy. Delboy has got a new whip, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as two things always get asked, firstly, they want more Delboy, God knows why. And secondly, they always want to know when Delboy's going to come out of retirement and race. We will answer that at the end, but Dad's got a new bike and we're going to roll through it because I think it is a pretty cool build that he's got here, some of the parts on it. So we will start with the frame and I'll pass it over to Delboy for this bit. So new frame.
We've been getting carbon frames for a long time and a lot of people do ask me like, where do your frames come from and things like that. But I am going to do a separate video about Alibaba.com and AliExpress and what to buy, where to buy, things like that. It is a little bit, can be a little bit complicated, but I spend a lot of time looking for these frames. This company come to notice because I actually bought a couple of rims from them. They actually sent me a couple of rims to try, and I've been with the same rim manufacturer for, I don't know, 10 years, something like that. And anyway, so they, I was really impressed with the rims. So then I took a stab, I saw this bike and it had some nice features that I liked. So it had this wicked little aerodynamic fin there covering the brake caliper up, and it's also got a little bit of dampening there, so it purely just, it doesn't go up and down like a full suspension bike, but it just takes a little bit of the rumbling out of the frame.
Do they think that any gain in that aero fin thing?
I saw one person had a little mention about how are you going to get a specialised aero SL whatever to go a bit faster, and someone said about aerodynamics. I don't know, you know, I mean, the people go game changer and things like that. I mean, there's no game changer.
Delboy feels the aero. He feels faster.
But no,
does that feel better as well?
You can feel it.
You can feel it,
but it's not a game changer, and the same thing as that is not a game changer. It just looked nice. I thought it looked nice, and
yeah, it covers up the calipers. Then
yeah.
Group set, so we'll spin it round. Actually, we'll stay on because a lot of Dad's parts for this bike, Delboy is a wheeler dealer.
For just £1.50 you can invest in one of these super deluxe trimming combs. I mean, you can save yourself a fortune.
And he finds all the parts. So we'll start with obviously the saddle. That is off
AliExpress. So I am going to do a video about what things I think you should take a chance on and what things you just definitely shouldn't take a chance on.
Yeah.
And little things, I mean, I never buy a frame off of AliExpress. Well, I have done. And then we got a policy at work that if they come in, I don't like them, they go straight in the skip. 95% would go in the skip, would you say? 95% of them go in the skip. Sometimes you get older one and you get older at the rear stays, you go like that and it's like Christmas come early, you think you've got the turkey wings sort of thing. So, you know, whenever you're buying a frame, I always go to Alibaba, and I look for the manufacturers, don't even go with Express. So, but a lot of people are going to argue about that. I mean, I'm not really.
So the saddle's essentially the knockoff of the S-Works one.
Yeah,
I mean, it is quite nice. I took the bike for a little spin yesterday when I was getting some B-roll for it, and it is quite a comfortable saddle, to be fair.
It's the best one I've ever had.
Yeah.
I've not been comfortable on a saddle since I had an old Rolls about 25 years ago, and everything's been a disaster, and I thought, I'll get that. I thought, you know, for 50 quid.
Yeah,
and it's a great saddle, so I really like that. So the frame comes with seat post, stem, bars. They're all integrated, so they all fit down inside there. I mean, I've done a lot of bike builds. This one, honestly, the cables just fed through lovely. So anyone that's done some old school stuff and you can't get the cables through, this was a dream come true. Got a little compartment. You do have to pay $10 extra to have a little bag, that they are going to send me one for that. But one, I put a camera down all of the frames that I get and I have a good look around there, and you know, so you can see this, and it is pretty pucker, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I'll get
in
there in a minute.
I know that bit's not so important. I mean, and it's round the bottom brackets, round there. And I always ask my frames that when they're finished doing the painting, whether they machine up the brake caliper stays as well, because there's nothing worse than putting brake calipers on and they start wobbling, they're not straight. They do that, and then I always ask for the bottom bracket to be, this is a T47 bottom bracket on this, and I always ask for that to be machined out before they come, and it just fits together lovely. One thing I did do is I know I'm not into, you know, spending huge amounts of money on specialised, you know, them days are over me. I don't need that anymore, and I know you kids do, and I do get it. I know everyone's screaming at me going, you don't get it though, you don't get it, it's got to have specialised on the side. Well, not for me and not for my age, but one little cheat I did have is I had an old set of cranks laying around, and they were under that warranty scheme with Shimano, so I did get a brand, so I have
Wheeler dealer Del Boy getting his Dura racing.
So I have blinged it a little bit. There's me saying
so we'll go
on the cheap.
We'll have a look at Groupset. So Dad got the L2 EGR. It's like their electronic. It's the new Groupset from China, isn't it? By L2. So
LTWOO, yeah.
LTWOO, how do you say it?
LTWOO.
LTWOO.
Well, they say it even differently to that when he come over.
In terms of shifting on that, I used it and I was actually quite impressed. I thought it was going to be terrible. Dad, what do you think of the shifting?
Yeah, I mean, I've got Dura-Ace, I've got SRAM Red, and I've got this one here, and I honestly, you know, if you want to be fussy and rip it apart, you can do, and if you want to stand there with a stopwatch, I'm guessing that I'm not interested. I press the button, it shifts gear and it goes in gear lovely. One thing at the minute, I have got, this is SRAM rear cassette on there, so I am going to change that. I've got a Chinese cassette in there, but certain things I don't do. At the minute, I'm still testing the Chinese chains and things like that, and I think the way that I look at these, I would never give this for you to race on or at a nationals, or Ben to race on at a nationals, just because, you know, I'm just not 100% sure on them, and if anything went wrong, sort of thing, like missing gears, jumping over things. And I know that when we first started trying the rear cassettes out, Ben was sort of like whacking 850 watts through, and he going there jumping, and I'm thinking, well, you know, so I think, you know, when you're buying any of this stuff, just be careful what you're doing with it. If you're an elite athlete, I think maybe think carefully, put it on your training bike. But anything up to that, but it's getting better all the time.
Yeah, and the savings on like the L2 stuff's pretty wild. I mean, like, the Dad said you reckon the shifting's as good as Shimano, and I mean I've got Ultegra on my road bike, and it was pretty similar to that. Like honestly, the hoods and stuff feel identical. Like you would honestly think it's been made probably in the same factory, which is pretty wild.
I think the only thing that's a little bit is getting used to. When I saw the shifting system, which is up and down there, I would prefer it on the other side. And maybe you can get an upgrade, or maybe they will do a firmware
I think
later.
you can adjust that, but what Dad's talking about and filming now is the shifter is all on one side. That's the same as Shimano.
Yeah.
If you've been using SRAM one by, you'll have left and right.
Yeah.
So
but
yeah,
it works really well. The only thing is I get a little bit confused because I commute in on my other bike, and that's the other way around. But you know, and I just thought, oh, you know, but it actually, in fact, it works really, really well. So I've got no problems there.
And it's exactly the same. The batteries in the seat tube, isn't it, for it? Whereas SRAM's
so batteries in the seat tube is something I didn't really like about. I don't know what about it, but anyway, the good thing about it is the batteries last an age, and with the batteries in this system here, is you can actually take them out and replace them. And whereas when the battery goes on a Shimano one, you're going to be like £100 for a new battery. So it's got some things, but then it is open to the elements a little bit more. It's not sealed, so. You know, to me, the Groupset's going to be about longevity. How long is it going to last? Is it going to do the winter hack? I am going to do a couple of little races and bits like that just to see how it performs. But you know, I mean, not going to be at your level.
Del Boy will be on the start line on this puppy soon. Tyres, you've gone for Victoria Torino dries.
I did, and the only reason I did that, to be really honest, because it had great handles.
Because it had great. Del Boy, I'm not bothered about my bike. I'm not bothered how it looks, but it does look pretty cool that it matches the grey and grey. 47s. It's actually got quite good clearance, this bike, hasn't it?
You could probably 50 up front.
It'll take 50 up front. It's probably a
at the back,
bit tight on the back. How do they feel? comparison
yeah,
to?
I had a few problems getting my tyre pressures right. So I started off with mountain bike sort of tyre pressures that were too low. So I've just upped a few pounds, and it makes a lot of difference. And the other thing is as well, it's very much a gravel bike, where in the bottom brackets it's very road orientated with just big spaces in there for the tyres, and the front fork I feel is raked forward a lot more. So
you can see that.
It's not so twitchy like a road bike, it's a little bit more sway when it goes in, and that kind of suits me on the gravel that you don't really want to be coming in. And so they've thought about this, you know, long and hard, and also there's no bolt hole coming through there as well.
Yeah, that looks good. And as well, the wheels on there, they're the fourth ones, are they?
Yeah, I've been buying them for ages. You know, you and Ben race on them. This is their new sort of wave. It's not a very massive wave on it. Yeah, it's a really good 28mm wide, so it makes the 47 tyres just pop out a little bit bigger than what they should do, which is nice.
On your other bike, you were running Racing Ray and Racing Ralph mountain bike tyres on his other bike.
No, I was running a Ray and a Ray.
Oh, he was running two Rays. Are these faster? Do they feel faster?
I must admit, I went on Schwalbe's website to see if they made a Ray in that size. They don't, unfortunately. So I would have put Rays on there because they just roll so really well. So I know it's a front specific tyre, but I'm just commuting back. So I really like it, and you can just pop off road.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry, plenty of grip. That Schwalbe Racing Ray is a hard tyre to beat, I think.
Group sets, Dad's obviously got Dura-Race, crankset, the L2 stuff, and then the brakes, you've gone with Mano rotors, aren't they?
Yeah, so it doesn't come with rotors. So it comes with their calipers, but their gravel group set comes with the mountain bike calipers on it, and the mountain bike caliper doesn't fit the front fork with that aero fin on it. So what I did is I bought quite a few group sets, and I just swapped out the road caliper, so that's got a road caliper on it. And what I really did like about that as well is when you put it up, there's a really big gap in beside the discs, and I get so fed up with it, and the kids always moaning like ching 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 when you go around, but the gap was huge. And then I thought to myself, wow, the levers are going to be coming straight back to the bar, but the levers are there. Yeah. You know, and that is locking up pretty impressively, I would say.
Yeah, the braking performance was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
When I tried them,
yeah, so I'm really impressed. So I think really longevity is what people are going to want to know about. And with the Chinese, I'm going to do a couple of other videos and put them on the fourth thing there, and just explain about how the Chinese warranty things work and things like that, because some people would get quite upset about it. You know, basically it's poor, and that's what lets well, it is. There is no warranty, and I'm going to go through all the little tricks and things like that they do. So they say this frame comes with a 2-year warranty, and when I build a relationship with that company, it's a lot better. But if you're just going to go and buy one frame, you're just a number out of a world of billions of people in it, and it just you're just not that important. Hubs as well, Chinese hubs on there. They're a sort of a spin-off or a knockoff if you want, or a copy, a copy of the DT hubs 180s. We've used these for about 5 years now, and they've got the DT ratchet system in them. I would never buy those ones with the pores in and the little springs and all those. I mean, as soon as you get water in there, they've rusted and they just fall apart. But this system here, really good. I do pop them out for the lads when they're racing and put ceramic bearings in there. And for cyclocross it's a bit rich, isn't it? But, yeah. But I do that just to lighten them up a little bit. But yeah, and a T47 bottom bracket. So we actually did make that one in the workshop.
I've got to admit, when you're building like a China bike, it massively helps that Dad's an engineer and has an engineering workshop to be able to adjust things. They don't always come perfect, do they? Like with bits fitting and stuff like that.
That's what you're paying your bike shop for, because all of these bikes, do not come perfect,
Yeah.
and you pay the mechanic in the shop, that's where they get that's their cut of their money. So if you're not any good on the tools, then I would say this is not for you. But if you are good on the tools and you can do a little bit of fettling and things like that, they're a lot better than what they used to be now. I mean, we've got loads of different bottom brackets in there, and I used to have to do weird things to bottom brackets to get them in line, machine them offset and things like that, because they were just so badly out. And I've had it where there's inside the top there's a chunk missing, a carbon bit, and the reply is, can you put a little bit of glue in the top? And you just think like, no, I can't. You can just tell the whole thing is fettled inside, and there was only one place that I found anything that you would maybe, well, it's commonplace that where they've drilled through here in the carbon for that, if you put your hand down inside there, you can feel a few little splinters, and it's just where they haven't been able to fettle the inside of the frame off like that.
But eventually, once Dad has ridden it for a while, smashed it about, we'll then get his second opinion on that group set. Lastly as well is, the most important bit is Dad's going to be racing this bike. Yes, you heard that right. Me and Dad are going to do the gravel rush.
I wouldn't call it racing, but he's going to be going round.
He's going to be on the start line. We're going to be doing the gravel rush pairs race, which is the 8th of June, I think. Yeah. So lap on, lap off. So Dad's in full training mode right now on this bad boy to give it a good old smash. And then hopefully we'll be able to give it a proper rundown of how everything's shifting.
And I did do a cost up of what that actually cost.
How much did a full build cost?
That cost me, I think it was 1,360 quid. I would kind of add about another £150 to that, because you forget about little chains and pedals and things like that. So that's what it came in at.
But you had some of the parts, so you had the crank set, didn't you?
Yeah, you'd have to, depending on what you want. I've never...
Was that in wheels as well, or just...
Yeah.
So wheels, all right, that is quite impressive. What was that, 1,300?
1,300 quid, 1,360.
And then had to buy...
add another 150 quid just for little things that you forget about.
But that is Dad's new machine that he's going to be racing. Little look at it. We don't have the scales to weigh it, so unfortunately Bike Pervs, we can't weigh it, but we will do a free hub test. Dad, pick it up, do the...
That's really sad doing that. I think everyone's sad. I know you...
Everyone loves a free hub test.
Really?
Yeah, the Bike Pervs love it, Del Boy.